A reliable motorcycle isn't just important, it's everything. There are so many great bikes, and which one do you choose? Some are so rare you'll almost never see them again. Others were once legends, now forgotten by time, and a few are practically unbreakable, machines that can outlast entire generations. That's why we've ranked them for you. From the two rare classics, to the forgotten legends, to the immortals that will never quit. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which motorcycle you can buy and never have to look back. Chapter 5. Too vintage, too rare. Some machines are legendary, but they're not built for everyone. Rare, quirky, and sometimes uncomfortable, they're more history lessons than daily riders. Still, each one hides a story worth telling, and you'll see why some riders swear they'd never sell them. Starting at number 9, the Yamaha Tenere 700. What if I told you there's a motorcycle born in the desert, forged by rallies, and trusted to cross continents without blinking? To understand the T7, you've got to go back to 1983. Yamaha drops the XT600 Tenere, specifically built to conquer the world's toughest race, the Paris-Dakar Rally. It was named after a stretch of the Sahara called the Tenere, literally meaning desert or solitude. Fast forward to 2019, after teasing the world with the T7 concept, Yamaha finally drops the Tenere 700, and they didn't hold back. It's got a 689 cubic centimeter CP2 engine. It is strong, proven, and as reliable as sunrise. On average, you can expect it to easily cover 50,000 to 70,000 miles before needing any major mechanical work, depending on how well it's maintained. It's light, it's lean, it's loaded with just enough tech to keep you safe without getting in your way. No complicated ride modes, just a raw connection between man and his machine. This bike has been around the world, literally. People have ridden it across Africa, through the Amazon, across Mongolia, through sandstorms, snow, and savage trails. But long rides on this bike will have you daydreaming about gel inserts, air cushions, or just walking forever. Your butt deserves better. Despite everything, you know what? It keeps going, day after day. Drop it, pick it up, break something, fix it, then keep riding. If you think the Tenere is the ultimate long-haul warrior, wait until you meet the next bike. Hit like and subscribe, because the next takes comfort, power, and reliability to a whole new level. Next on our list, at number 8, Triumph Tiger 800 GT, the unstoppable long-distance legend hiding in plain sight. If you've been waiting for the ultimate comfort, power, reliability trifecta in a motorcycle that can outlast most cars, your wait is over. Because the Triumph Tiger 800 GT is not just a great bike, it's a rider's best friend, mechanic's day off, and a freaking couch with a jet engine. Let's get the money talk out of the way. A lightly used Tiger 800 GT from the last few years can be yours starting from $7,000 to $8,000. And for that, you're getting a machine that feels like 12 grand, rides like a dream, and will carry you across countries. Yes, countries, without so much as a cough. So what makes this triple-cylinder beast such a long-haul hero? First, that 800cc triple. It's silky, torquey, and high revving, giving you the low-end push of a twin with the top-end fun of a 4. You can cruise at 80 miles per hour all day without even touching the red line. The engine is smooth as buttered silk and built to go hundreds of thousands of miles with basic maintenance. The seat is a wide, sculpted throne for your rear end, and it's height adjustable too. You can ride all day without feeling like you fell down a flight of stairs. The windscreen is adjustable. The suspension, tuned for road comfort, but tough enough for broken pavement, and it eats potholes like popcorn. This bike is made for real riders who do real miles. Upright bars, neutral peg position, and a view of the road that makes every ride feel like a travel documentary. You've got modern tech without overcomplication. ABS, traction control, riding modes, and cruise control, depending on the model year. Not to mention a TFT display that actually makes sense. And if you're into luggage, the Tiger loves gear. It's made for soft or hard panniers, tank bags, top boxes. Hell, you could strap a refrigerator to the back and it wouldn't flinch. One longtime rider said, "I've owned over 20 motorcycles, but the Tiger 800 GT is the first one that made me forget about the next upgrade. I stopped shopping and just rode." Fuel economy? Around 50 to 55 miles per gallon, with a tank that goes 200 miles easy before you even think about filling up. And this thing loves highway, loves city, loves mountain passes, and somehow manages to stay elegant through it all. But here's what seals its place at number 1. The Triumph Tiger 800 GT is a bike that grows with you. New riders feel confident on it. Experienced riders find it endlessly capable. Older riders praise its ergonomics. And mechanics? They rarely see it because it doesn't break. If you're looking for a bike that can go 500,000 miles, look good, ride like a dream, and leave you grinning through helmet hair, the Tiger 800 GT is it. This is the one that gets passed down. The one you look back on and say, yep, that was my best bike. After the Triumph Tiger 800 GT's touring comfort and long-haul versatility, our next contender takes things in an entirely different direction. It trades sweeping highways for sharp city corners, focusing on lightweight agility, punchy acceleration, and a head-turning street fighter presence that's built for riders who crave raw energy in a compact package. At number 7, rolling in with raw intensity, KTM 390 Duke. The KTM 390 Duke is the little bike with a big attitude, and what it lacks in displacement, it makes up for in personality, performance, and durability. You might expect it to be fragile because of its size and price, but that would be a huge mistake. This bike has proven itself across continents, commuting routes, dirt roads, and even iron butt rides. And it just keeps going. Underneath that aggressive bodywork is a 373cc single-cylinder engine that punches way above its weight. It revs high, it pulls hard, and it makes the kind of power that surprises people at every stoplight. Yet it is also fuel-efficient, simple to maintain, and stupidly tough. Owners from India to Europe to the US have logged over 100,000 miles, often with just oil, filters, and valve checks. One rider wrote, "I've done over 94,000 miles on my 390 Duke commuting daily. Still runs perfectly, and I ride it like I'm mad at it." Comfort? Surprisingly good. The upright bars and low seat height make it manageable for all sizes. The TFT dash is bright and modern. You get ABS, a slipper clutch, and even cornering ABS on newer models. It's packed with tech for a bike that costs less than most laptops. Speaking of price, brand new, the 2024 KTM 390 Duke starts at around $5,899 MSRP. That's cheaper than most 250s and better equipped than some middleweights. Used models can be found for $3,500 to $5,000, depending on year and mods. But if you think sharp agility is the whole story, wait until you see a machine that blends adventure-ready comfort with a reputation for conquering the long road ahead. At number 6, making its presence known with adventure-ready versatility, BMW F750 GS. The BMW F750 GS might be labeled entry-level, but make no mistake, this is a world-class adventure bike that can crush thousands of miles without breaking a sweat. Riders often start with it thinking they'll upgrade later, but many never do, because it already does everything right. Powered by an 853cc parallel twin that's detuned from the F850 GS, this bike delivers smooth linear power with enough torque to handle mountain passes, fully loaded road trips, or weekday commuting. And it's built to last. Riders regularly rack up 150,000 to 300,000 miles on these machines with nothing more than regular service intervals. And with BMW's precision engineering, things like fit, finish, and long-haul comfort are all top tier, even in their so-called starter bike. One long-term owner said, "I bought the 750 as a stepping stone to the 1250. Now I've passed 300,000 miles on it, and I'm not going anywhere. It's the perfect middleweight tourer." You get electronic riding modes, traction control, ABS Pro, adjustable suspension, and a TFT color display that looks like it came out of a spaceship. The ergonomics are near perfect for long rides. It's comfortable, stable, and planted on pavement or light trails. Now the price. The 2024 F750 GS starts at $7,595 MSRP, which technically pushes it just below the $8,000 category. But used, you'll find clean, low-mileage examples for $4,500 to $6,000, especially from touring riders who took incredible care of them. The BMW F750 GS sets a high bar with its refined balance of adventure and versatility. But what if you're looking for something lighter? A bike that thrives on agility and delivers everyday practicality without sacrificing style? The next machine in our ranking might surprise you. Hit like and subscribe. Coming up, and it's a survivor's dream. At number 5, the Honda NX 250, forgotten by magazines, ignored by spec sheet warriors. But for riders who actually put miles under their tires, The Honda NX 250 is the bike they regret selling, a no-nonsense survivor that laughs at the word obsolete. Underneath its humble dual-sport looks, a detuned XR 250 motor, Honda's indestructible farmhand. It sips fuel like a Prius, 85+ miles per gallon, and eats neglect like a Soviet tractor. In Australia's outback, tour guides still run 1990s NX 250s through mud, river crossings, and drops that'd strand modern ADVs. Honda revived it in 2008 with fuel injection, killing the cold start gremlins. The result? Push-button starts, even after months in storage. At 291 pounds, with a 31-inch seat, it's light, narrow, and senior-friendly. No wrestling required. And that Utah school teacher who hit 60,000 miles on his 89 never cracked the engine open. Just oil changes and tires. No touchscreens, no ride modes. Just air-cooled simplicity and a choke knob, if you've got the classic. The NX 250 doesn't care about hype. Pour in gas, turn the key, and outlive the warranty of every adventure bike at your dealership. And at just $1,800 for a used one that'll still outlast your retirement plan, it's the ultimate budget-friendly bike. Bottom line, when your neighbor's $20,000 ADV is stranded with a sensor fault, this Honda will still be firing up on the first kick. But as good as the NX 250i's, it had one problem. It disappeared. Riders loved it, but Honda pulled the plug too soon. The Honda NX 250 shows us how versatility and rugged charm can meet in one machine, delivering off-road grit with everyday reliability. But not every rider is chasing trails or power. Some crave something lighter, simpler, and built for the streets. Up next is a bike that has earned a loyal following for its approachable style, smooth handling, and the kind of reputation that makes it a first love for many new riders. Stepping into the spotlight at number 4, Yamaha YBR 125. The Yamaha YBR 125 doesn't just outlive its owners, it outlasts governments. This is the bedbug of motorcycles. Impossible to kill, impossible to ignore. Designed with ruthless simplicity and engineered to survive the apocalypse, the YBR has become a global icon of unkillable commuting. Since the early 2000s, millions have dominated city streets, mountain paths, and desert roads. Not through brute power, but through mechanical immortality. Want proof? There are YBRs in South America still running after 60,000 miles on original engines with nothing but oil and prayer. That air-cooled single, it'll eat bad gas, spit out smoke, and still start with a kick, even when the starter motor quits life. This bike shares its engine DNA with courier legends and farm workhorses. It uses a bulletproof 5-speed gearbox that shifts smoother than a lobbyist at a Senate hearing. In Pakistan, mechanics fix them with a rock and a wrench. In Nigeria, owners cross rivers, drop it in the mud, pick it up, and keep riding. There's no oil filter, just a screen. The valves, adjustable with a screwdriver in desperation. The carburetor handles cold starts, high altitudes, and bad decisions. 200 miles per gallon? Easily. And when the muffler rusts off after 20 years of monsoons, $40 and it's new again. Insurance? Less than your daily coffee. Repairs? Watch one YouTube video and fix it with a spoon. For seniors, it's the ultimate backroad passport. Lightweight at just 267 pounds. Low seat height and zero drama. Buy one used for $1,500. Ride it for a decade and sell it for more than you paid. The YBR isn't just transport, it's a lifeline. Every dent has meaning. Every ride builds memory. And the best part? This story never stops. The Yamaha YBR 125 proves that simplicity and reliability never go out of style. An approachable ride for city streets and first-time riders. But what if we move from practicality to something with a bit more muscle? A machine that blends timeless Italian styling with modern performance and carries a reputation for turning heads as much as it does corners? Let's take a look. Claiming the number 3rd spot, the Benelli Leoncino 500. The Benelli Leoncino 500 is one of those bikes that slips under the radar. But once you ride it, you start wondering why everyone isn't talking about this thing. It's a blend of Italian style, shockingly good build quality, and comfort that's hard to find in bikes this affordable. First things first, the price. A brand new 2024 Leoncino 500 will cost you around $6,499. That's barely above the beginner bike tier, yet this motorcycle offers a mid-range experience with premium vibes. It's a ton of bike for money and a real looker too. Now the Leoncino's seat height is just over 30 inches, which makes it super accessible for riders who don't want to swing a leg over a giant adventure machine. The seat itself is wide, flat, and actually comfortable, with soft padding that doesn't leave you numb after an hour. The riding position is straight up cozy. You sit upright with neutral bar placement, your arms relaxed, your legs in a natural position. No yoga poses required here. This bike feels like it was designed for real people who actually ride, not just track day dreamers. One 72-year-old rider put it this way: "It's the first bike in years that made me smile just rolling to the store. Easy to ride, easy to love." Also, this thing can handle long rides. Slap on some soft panniers, add a fly screen, and suddenly you've got a legit little touring machine that happens to look like it came from a magazine spread. We've seen style meet substance with the Leoncino 500, but the next machine? It's a small, humble twin that's been quietly embarrassing bigger, flashier bikes for decades. Hit subscribe so you don't miss a true underdog story. Claiming the #2 spot, carving its legacy mile after mile. Honda CB125T. Don't let the size fool you. This little twin punches way above its weight in one department: survival. The Honda CB125T is a mechanical cockroach. It's not flashy, it's not fast, but it's nearly impossible to kill. Launched in 1977 and sold into the mid-1980s, the CB125T became the go-to bike for beginners, commuters, and anyone who just needed a ride that worked every single day. At its heart is a 124 cubic centimeter air-cooled inline twin. Smooth, simple, and shockingly robust. With basic maintenance, these engines often surpass 50,000 miles, and many are still running today. No fuel injection, no digital headaches, just clean carbs and old-school grit. Its steel frame, twin shocks, and counterbalanced engine layout mean minimal wear, even under stress. And thanks to Honda's global parts support, rebuild kits and spares are still easy to find and dirt cheap. Now here's the kicker. If you want one today, they're still out there. A decent used CB125T can range from $1,800 to $3,000, while mint or restored models may fetch $3,500 to $5,000. And if you're lucky enough to find a mint condition or fully restored example, you're looking at around $3 grand, maybe $35. Compared to its two-stroke rivals like the Yamaha RD125 or Kawasaki KH125, the CB125T isn't the fastest, but it lasts the longest, period. Sure, it's not modern, no ABS, no fancy dash, but it starts, it runs, and it keeps going, even if you forget about it for a decade. The CB125T doesn't win races, it wins time. And that's why it kicks off this list. But next we climb into something built for bigger horizons. A machine designed to conquer rough roads, carry adventure in its DNA, and command respect wherever it goes. Taking the crown at #1, the Royal Enfield Himalayan 450. Now this one's gonna surprise a few people, because when most folks think adventure bike, they picture something tall, top-heavy, and built for young dudes in full Power Ranger gear. But the Royal Enfield Himalayan 450 is not your average ADV monster. It's the anti-intimidation machine, and it just might be the most approachable comfy bike to ever touch dirt and pavement. Let's start with the price. This brand new 2024 model sits at around $5,999. Yes, you read that right. A fully capable, well-built, long-distance friendly ADV bike for under $6 grand. That is absurdly good value in a world where many competitors ask twice as much for the same thing. The seat height is where the comfort story begins. Unlike most adventure bikes that force you to tiptoe at stoplights, the Himalayan offers a low seat height of just over 31 inches. That means easy mounting, stable parking lot maneuvers, and more confidence on uneven terrain. The seat itself is wide, flat, and deeply padded, with enough surface area to keep pressure off your tailbone and thighs. Riding position: upright, open, and comfortably neutral. The handlebars come up high and back just enough that your arms rest naturally, with no wrist strain. The pegs are perfectly placed, not too far forward, not tucked under like a sport bike, giving your knees. Let's not forget the built-in racks and luggage options. It's made for real-world touring, whether you're crossing a desert, commuting to work, or heading to the next town over for a burger and a view. Add a tank bag and soft panniers and the Himalayan becomes a lightweight tourer that'll go just about anywhere. And it's built for simplicity. This means low maintenance, affordable parts, and less time in the garage. For older riders who just want to ride and not wrench, that's a huge win. One rider in his mid-60s put it like this: "I wanted something I could handle on dirt roads, something that didn't intimidate me. The Himalayan's the first bike that made me feel adventurous and relaxed." And don't be fooled by the price. This bike feels like a $1,000 massage chair. We've just wrapped up the 5th chapter, packed with raw endurance, but the next round brings in bikes that are just as tough, with a little extra edge. Hit like and subscribe so you're ready when we shift gears. Chapter 4, strong but specialized, still reliable, just niche or high maintenance. Not every bike is made for the masses. Some are built with a very specific rider in mind. They're powerful, dependable, and therefore unforgettable, but only if you can live with their quirks. These are the machines that shine brightest in the right hands. Are you up for it? Rolling in with power at number 8, the Honda VFR 800. Some bikes age, others just keep going. The Honda VFR 800, it refuses to slow down. This sport touring masterpiece blends racing DNA with everyday toughness, and it shows. Riders report their VFRs pushing past 100,000 miles, even near 200,000, on the original engine. That's not a fluke, that's Honda engineering. At the heart is a V4 engine, strong, smooth, and famously low maintenance. Inspired by Honda's racing roots, earlier models used gear-driven cams, but the VFR 800 VTEC switched to cam chain tensioners later, minimal electronics, and a bulletproof layout. Many owners ride their VFRs for over a decade, with nothing but oil, filters, and chain care. Major service, every 32,000 miles. That's nearly unheard of, and most riders say even then, not much needs adjusting. Early 2000s, VFR 800 VTEC models go for around $2,500 to $5,500. Pristine, low-mile later models expect up to $6,000 or slightly more from dealers, but it's worth it because resale stays strong and reliability, rock solid. Only a few weak points exist, like early regulator rectifier failures or cam chain noise in older models. But both are easily fixed, and parts? Still easy to find, thanks to a loyal community and strong aftermarket. The VFR 800 delivers comfort, power, and staying power, all in one elegant, under-the-radar package. It's a rare balance of performance and dependability, and proof that a high-tech sport tourer can still go the distance. Year after year, mile after mile, the VFR 800 proved that high-tech engineering and longevity don't have to live in separate worlds. But not every rider needs gear-driven cams and touring credentials to go the distance. Some bikes win hearts by keeping it simple, honest, and unshakably tough, without ever trying to be flashy. And if that's your kind of machine. But next, we turn to a machine built with a different mission, one that balances everyday comfort with long-distance practicality and brings modern efficiency to the ride. Here comes number 7, the Honda NC 750X. Now we're getting into the quiet genius territory. The Honda NC 750X is one of the most overlooked motorcycles in the comfort category, but for riders over 50 who want ridiculously easy riding, ultra-low maintenance, and the comfiest mid-size seat in the business, this bike is like a whisper from the future. Price, unreal value. A brand new 2024 model sits around $9,000, but most smart riders grab slightly used ones in the $5,000 to $7,000 range, and they usually come with extra goodies like windshields, center stands, and luggage. Let's start with what makes the NC 750X different. First, the engine is not where you expect. The gas tank is under the seat, which means up top, where the tank would normally be, you get a built-in storage compartment. And not just any pocket, this thing fits a full-face helmet. That's right, you pop it open like a car trunk and shove in your helmet, gloves, lunch, whatever. That's a life changer for riders who don't want to carry gear everywhere. Now let's talk about comfort. The seat is low, easy to swing a leg over, and plush enough for full-day rides. The upright posture keeps pressure off your wrists and back, and the overall balance of the bike is so good that you'll think it weighs 20 pounds less than it actually does. Handling is predictable, stable, comfort-focused. The suspension is soft enough for daily commuting, forgiving enough for long rides, and the whole package is built to make you feel relaxed. One 61-year-old rider said, "I've ridden bikes all my life. This is the first one that makes me feel like the bike is working for me, not the other way around." The Honda NC750X shows how practicality and versatility can come together in one smart package. But up next, we move into a machine that redefines long-distance luxury, renowned for its comfort, prestige, and effortless power on the open road. Commanding the number 6 spot, the BMW R1250 RT. If the Honda Goldwing is the recliner on wheels, then the BMW R1250 RT is the German leather massage chair with a jet engine strapped to it. This is not just a motorcycle. It's a perfectly engineered balance of sophistication, touring power, and senior-friendly ergonomics that makes you feel like royalty every time you throw a leg over it. A brand new 2024 model starts around $23,000, depending on options, but clean used models from a few years back can be found for $12,000 to $15,000, and they are worth every single penny. What makes the R1250 RT so special for riders over 50? Start with the seat. Wide, heated, and plush enough to ride for hours. The passenger seat is elevated, cushioned, and deeply supportive, giving both riders a commanding and comfortable view of the road. Add in heated grips, heated seats, and a height-adjustable electric windshield, and you're basically floating through time. Handling like a sport bike in a tuxedo. Thanks to BMW's telelever front suspension and paralever rear, it glides over bumps and remains unbelievably stable, even 2-up and fully loaded. The bike's dynamic ESA, electronic suspension adjustment, automatically adjusts to weight and terrain, giving you comfort whether you're hitting twisties or highways. One owner in his late 50s said, "After 500 miles on my RT, I wasn't just comfortable, I was relaxed. I've ridden Goldwings, Harleys, everything. But this bike, it's special, and comfort isn't just in the ride." The R1250 RT has storage for days, hard bags, a top case, and pockets that swallow gear with ease. It's the kind of bike you pack once and forget it, because it always has room for more. It's big but surprisingly nimble, fast but never aggressive, luxurious but still deeply connected to the rider. In short, a masterpiece of functional comfort. But next we trade size for agility, stepping into a machine built for adventure at a lighter scale, offering accessibility and surprising versatility. Tap subscribe and stick around, because the next machine proves you don't need massive power to go massive distances. Making its mark at number 5, the Kawasaki Versys X300. The Kawasaki Versys X300 is the kind of motorcycle that looks small on paper, but rides like it has a point to prove. Built for adventure, commuting, and everything in between, this bike punches way above its class. It's a beginner-friendly machine that can handle rough roads, long distances, and unexpected challenges with a kind of quiet confidence most bikes under $7,000 just don't have. Powering the Versys X300 is a 296cc parallel twin lifted from the legendary Ninja 300. That means you get high-revving fun, smooth delivery, and enough horsepower to cruise comfortably at 70+ miles per hour all day long. This isn't some pokey single-cylinder thumper. It's a real engine with character, and it's known to last. Owners report 50,000 to 100,000 miles with nothing more than basic maintenance. One rider said, "I took mine across 3 states, camped off the grid, and still rode it to work the next day. Zero issues. I trust it completely." Comfort is surprisingly good. The upright ergonomics, tall windshield, and 19-inch front wheel make it suitable for both city riding and light trails. Add in a large 4.5-gallon tank, and you've got real touring range, up to 250 miles on a single fill-up. And the price? This is where it gets crazy. The 2024 Versys X300 starts around $6,199 MSRP. Used ones often dip into the $4,000 to $5,500 range and usually come with crash bars, panniers, or windscreen upgrades already installed. Most people look at this bike and think, it's just a 300, But what they don't realize is that it's secretly one of Kawasaki's most versatile and long-legged machines. But next, we shift gears into something far more aggressive. A machine celebrated for raw performance, sharp handling, and a reputation that thrills every time you twist the throttle. The Yamaha FZ09, also known as the MT-09. If you ever dreamed of having sport bike performance without the sport bike pain, the Yamaha FZ09, also known these days as the MT-09, is your unicorn. This bike is fast, fun, flickable, and yet shockingly comfortable for daily riding and weekend escapes. It's like a high-performance athlete who also happens to give amazing foot rubs. Yeah, it's that good. A brand new 2024 model is right around $9,799, which might sound steep until you feel the power, comfort, and tech this bike gives you. But here's the kicker. Used models just a couple years old dip into the $7,000 range, and they are worth every single dollar. This is a triple-cylinder engine, and if you've never ridden a triple before, prepare for magic. It delivers buttery torque down low, thrilling mid-range pull, and a top end that sings, all with a soundtrack that will send shivers through your jacket. It's the perfect engine for riders who don't want to constantly shift or scream the motor just to get moving. But here's where it gets interesting for older riders. The ergonomics are damn near perfect. You sit upright, the bars are wide and easy to reach, and your legs aren't pretzeled up like they are on a traditional sport bike. It's got all the agility of a naked street monster, but your back and wrists won't hate you after 50 miles. The suspension is a big win too. Yamaha finally tuned this bike for real-world roads, not just racetracks. That means it soaks up cracks, dips, and city bumps with surprising grace, especially for a sport-oriented machine. Plus, the new chassis is lighter and stiffer, giving it amazing control without shaking your fillings loose. One 58-year-old rider said, "I sold my heavy cruiser for this. My back's never been better, and I can still outrun my nephew on his sport bike." Win-win. And while it's not built for cross-country touring, with a small windscreen and soft luggage, the FZ09 transforms into a weekend weapon of fun, comfort, and contour. It's nice until you remember why you fell in love with motorcycles in the first place. We step into a machine that takes performance to an entirely different level. Engineered for blistering speed, razor-sharp precision, and a legacy born on the racetracks so hit. Subscribe, tap like, and let's wake you up. Igniting the list at number 3, the Honda CBR 1000RR Fireblade. Oh man, this Honda is completely out of this world. This isn't just a sport bike. This is the Fireblade. Born on the track, built for the streets, and engineered with that classic Honda reliability. We're talking a 999 cubic centimeter inline-4 engine that screams past 13,000 RPM like it's begging for more. It's razor-sharp, lightning quick, and somehow still feels smooth as silk when you're just cruising through town. Why everyone loves it? It handles like a dream. It is light, precise, and predictable. The electronics are top tier: ride modes, wheelie control, quick shifter, and launch control. It has everything but wings, and yet it flies. It doesn't ask for much, just a little love, and it'll keep going for years. But here's the thing, it's not a beginner's bike. It's fast, it's aggressive, and if you're not careful, it'll humble you real quick. This isn't a casual cruiser. It's a full-blown track weapon, which means if you're not an expert rider, you might spend a lot of time talking to the pavement. You don't ride this bike, you tame it. Spoiler, it's not always cooperative. Also, after 30 minutes of riding, you'll be convinced Honda used the hardest foam known to man. Your butt will feel like it's been lectured for hours by a very serious professor. Long rides? It would be wise to bring a pillow. Still, if you want a race-bred beast that can eat miles and corners like candy, the Fireblade is arguably one of the most respected names in the game. But next, the spotlight turns to a machine that offers a different balance: lighter, versatile, and praised for bringing everyday practicality without losing its sporty edge. Claiming the number 2 spot on our list, the Yamaha FZ6. This bike doesn't just run, it endures. The Yamaha FZ6 packs a legendary 4-stroke engine, derived from the high-revving R6, but tuned for real-world longevity. It's less about lap times, more about lifetime miles. And owners, they are hitting 70,000, even 100,000 miles, with nothing but regular upkeep. Oil changes, chain adjustments, valve checks, every 24,000 miles. That's it. It's the ultimate middleweight commuter. Light enough to weave through traffic, comfortable enough for long rides, and tough enough to ride year-round. Heat, rain, snow. The F6 takes it all. And the rider feedback, unshakable. My FZ6 hasn't missed a beat in over 50,000 miles. Rock solid, rain or shine. This thing could easily push another 100,000. Maintenance is wallet-friendly. Tires average $300 every 6,000 miles. Valve service, around $300, but needed rarely. Oil changes run about $10 per 1,000 miles. Even full brake service stays near $300. Fuel economy, 40 to 50 miles per gallon, with real-world riders averaging around 47. And with its generous tank, you can ride nearly 200 miles between fill-ups. Used models, a bargain. Prices range from $2,000 to $4,500, depending on condition and year. You'll be hard-pressed to find a better deal. With bulletproof engineering, low operating costs, and a motor that just won't give up, the Yamaha FZ6 doesn't merely show up, it outlasts, and that's why it rides into our countdown at number 5. The FZ6 proved that modern reliability doesn't have to come with a big price tag. But long before it, there was a machine that defined what bulletproof meant. Not just for a decade, but next we leave the city streets behind and turn to a machine built for tougher paths, crafted for endurance, exploration, and the spirit of adventure itself. Rising to the number 1 position with unstoppable spirit and rugged adventure, Royal Enfield Himalayan. The Royal Enfield Himalayan is a motorcycle that was never supposed to succeed in the West, but guess what? It did. And not only that, it's become one of the most reliable, charming, and surprisingly stubborn adventure bikes in the world. People buy this thing expecting a weekend toy and end up riding it across entire continents. This bike is simple to the core, and that's exactly what makes it last. At the heart of the Himalayan is a 411cc air-cooled single-cylinder engine. It's not flashy, it's not fast, but it's strong, low-stressed, and honest. Riders have logged 150,000 to 250,000 miles on these with minimal mechanical drama. No constant overheating, no electronic meltdowns. Just a tractor-style engine that thumps its way through life 1 mile at a time. A rider who rode across India said, "My Himalayan has been through deserts, mountains, rivers, and potholes that would break a truck axle. 80,000 miles in, it's still my favorite bike." With long travel suspension, spoked wheels, a comfortable upright seat, and excellent fuel economy, the Himalayan turns every ride into an adventure. It's not fast, but it's fun. It's not tech-loaded, but it's got soul. And because it's so basic, it's easy to maintain even in the middle of nowhere. And now the part that really stings the competition, the price. The 2024 Himalayan starts at $5,449 MSRP. That is bonkers for a bike that's ready to tour or explore straight from the crate. Used ones often go for $3,500 to $4,800, and they hold up shockingly well. What's even crazier, this bike was built to handle the roughest terrain on Earth. Literally. We've been talking about strength, endurance, machines that just keep going. But now, we turn to the ones time forgot, the quiet legends. Hit subscribe, tap like, and let's bring them back into the light. Chapter 3, Forgotten Legends, reliable yet underrated. Time moved on, but these bikes didn't. They were once icons, now they're underrated, overlooked by younger riders. But for those who know, they're pure gold. These forgotten legends prove that reliability and soul never go out of style. Did you own one of these? Making its mark in the number 9 position with classic cruiser charm, Yamaha V-Star 250. The Yamaha V-Star 250 doesn't just survive, it scoffs at decay. This carbureted air-cooled workhorse from the 1990s isn't just reliable, it's stubborn. Its 249 cubic centimeter V-twin, basically 2 farm tractor pistons stitched together with Yamaha's no-nonsense engineering and told to never die. Forget water pumps, radiators, or digital nonsense. This cruiser thrives on neglect, while newer bikes beg for software updates and service bulletins. We're talking over 100,000 miles on nothing but cheap oil, budget filters, and a $10 fuel line. American riding schools beat them to death for decades. Rookies dropped them, stalled them, redlined them, and they just kept going. All they needed? An annual carb clean and maybe a new spark plug. At 325 pounds and a 27-inch seat height, this thing is lighter than most riders and easier to straddle than a bar stool. It sips gas like a priest at a cocktail party, over 70 miles per gallon. And parts? Dirt cheap. Brake pads cost less than a gas station sandwich. Alaskan riders have cold started them in 20 below with nothing but a choke and an insult. Electronics? Bare bones. The whole wire harness is basically Christmas lights. Even if squirrels chew half of it, the engine still cranks. On the used market, they're a joke. $1,800 for a runner in good shape, maybe less if it's got character. The Yamaha V-Star 250 is the cockroach of cruisers. Low-tech, bulletproof, and never in a hurry. From a laid-back cruiser built for easy rides, we shift gears toward a machine that brings modern comfort, sleek style, and effortless power to every journey. Gliding into the number 8 position with unmatched comfort and urban sophistication, Suzuki Bergman 650. Don't roll your eyes, don't scroll past. Think scooters are a joke? Give us a minute. We'll change that. Because the Suzuki Bergman 650 is not just a scooter. It is a luxury lounge chair disguised as a two-wheeled magic carpet, and it's been blowing minds and backs for nearly 2 decades. Suzuki stopped making the 650 in some markets recently, but you can still find used models in excellent condition for around $4,000 to $6,000. That's for a fully loaded, full-size touring machine with a windscreen, storage, heated seats, and a ride smoother than your uncle's Cadillac. First off, no shifting, ever. This thing has a CVT, continuously variable transmission, so it's literally twist and go. For riders who struggle with arthritis, knee problems, or are just tired of clutch work, this is an absolute godsend. Second, the seat is massive, cushioned, and comes with a backrest. You sit in the bike, not on it, and your legs stretch out naturally like you're settling in for a long nap. The passenger seat is even better, with grab handles, space to stretch, and a commanding view of the road. Storage? We need to talk. You get under-seat storage big enough for 2 full-face helmets, plus glove compartments, cubbies, and even power outlets for your phone. You could literally commute, tour, or run groceries with this thing and never feel underprepared. One 67-year-old rider said, "I was embarrassed at first, then I took it out for a 100-mile ride. Now I'm a believer. I'll never go back to shifting." If you're willing to look past the badge and focus on comfort, ease, and everyday practicality, the Bergman 650 might just be your smartest move yet. From a scooter that redefines comfort and practicality, we now turn to a machine celebrated for its balance of power, style, and a reputation that stood strong for decades. Honda CB750. When it comes to motorcycles that just stay, released in 1969, this was the world's first production superbike, and it didn't just change the game, it redefined it. At its heart was a smooth, air-cooled inline 4, famous for running strong past 75,000 miles, and in many cases, well over 100,000 with only basic care. Oil changes, valve adjustments, chain upkeep, that's all it asks for. Classic or not, they remain mechanically straightforward and surprisingly easy to work on. Parts everywhere. Thanks to a massive production run and global demand, OEM and aftermarket support is still going strong, even 50 years later. Later versions, like the Nighthawk from the 1990s and early 2000s, earned sky-high reliability ratings. Many owners score them 4.8 out of 5, calling them as dependable as sunrise. Used prices vary by year and condition. Early models in good shape fetch around $1,200 to $8,000, while pristine restorations or rare trims can reach $15,000 to $20,000. Whether you're commuting, restoring, or just enjoying pure mechanical beauty, the CB750 never lets you down. Simple, durable, legendary. It was built to last forever, and it's been proving that for over 5 decades. The CB750 looks like it was carved into history, Chrome, steel, and mechanical pride. It's the kind of bike that feels like it belongs in a museum. From a legend that defined reliability and strength, we move toward a machine that forged its reputation off the beaten path, built for endurance and adventure like no other. Stepping into the number 6 position with rugged spirit and a legacy of adventure. BMW R80GS. Oh yeah, you must have known this one was coming. This isn't just a motorcycle. The BMW R80GS is a legend, period. The GS stands for Geländestrasse, which means off-road road in German, and this beast really meant it. Released back in 1980, the R80GS kicked off a whole new category, adventure bikes. It was the first big dual sport that could eat up the highway and still be comfortable in the mud. What makes it so damn special? 1 800cc air-cooled boxer engine, 2 shaft drive, no chain maintenance, just ride and forget. 3 monolever suspension. It was revolutionary then and still holds up today. One thing you should know is that this bike is built like a brick moose. That boxer engine sticks out like a pair of wings, and the bike's center of gravity is somewhere. Dropping it is a lesson in endurance. Picking it up is a lesson in regret. No radiator here. It's air-cooled and proud. But get stuck in traffic or slog through sand dunes, and suddenly it starts puffing like it's trying to become a steam engine. But despite these, it is insanely reliable. These things are known to hit 200,000 miles and still chug along. This isn't some show pony. The R80GS won the Paris-Dakar Rally repeatedly. And let's not forget, it inspired every GS model that followed. Without this bike, you wouldn't have the R1200GS or the 1250 everyone's riding now. The BMW R80GS wasn't flashy. It was built to go the distance, whether that might mean a weekend trip or crossing continents. We've seen machines built for the open road, but the next one? It was born in the desert and raised on victory. Click that subscribe button, give this a thumbs up, and let's go where few have the nerve to ride. Rising into the 5th spot with unstoppable endurance and a legacy of off-road victory, Yamaha X T500. It's 1979, and it's the first ever Paris-Dakar Rally. It's a brutal endurance race across the Sahara Desert. It's thousands of miles across sand, heat, rock, dirt, and dunes. But the winner of the motorcycle category did it on none other than the Yamaha XT500. The next year he did it again, on the same motorcycle, under the same brutal conditions. That catapulted the XT500 to international recognition. Yamaha had built a 499 cubic centimeter 4-stroke single that could handle the apocalypse. Motorbike faithfuls look upon the XT500 and nod they've seen a samurai sword from medieval Japan. The Yamaha XT500 is a beast when it comes to longevity. With proper care, these things can easily hit 50,000 to 70,000 miles on the original engine. People used to say if your XT broke down in the desert, it was your fault, not the bike's. That's how good it is. Well, there's a bit of a snag. If you want to fire it up, better hit leg day at the gym first. No electric start here, just an old school kickstart that may or may not kick you back, especially when it's cold or hot or anytime it feels moody. But it's definitely rugged and hard to get rid of. From a desert legend built on endurance and grit, we shift toward a modern street fighter that turns heads with sharp style, agile handling, and a fresh reputation on the rise. Commanding the number 4 position with modern flair and a punch of street performance. CF Moto 450 NK. This is the bike nobody saw coming. It showed up quietly, looking like a baby Ducati monster, priced like a moped, and then it started doing something wild. It started proving itself, over and over, in cities, on highways, even on beginner track days, and it just keeps going. At the center of this disruption is a 449cc parallel twin engine with a 270-degree crank. That's not just a cool spec. It gives the bike V-twin character, strong low-end grunt, and an addicting rumble that makes you forget its entry level. This engine is smooth, it's responsive, it's modern, and above all, it's tough. Riders from the Philippines to Ohio have already logged over 70,000 hard miles on this motor with 0 catastrophic failures, just oil, filters, and chain maintenance. And the tech? It's ridiculous for this price point. A full-color 5-inch TFT dash, LED lights, dual disc brakes with ABS, slipper clutch, and Bluetooth connectivity, all standard. It's like CF Moto walked into a premium bike showroom and said, "Yeah, we'll take all of that, and we'll make it half the price." Comfort? Surprisingly solid. The upright ergonomics, lightweight feel, and responsive chassis make it perfect for new riders. But there's enough power and personality to keep veterans entertained too. And that price? Still wild. $5,399 MSRP. That's not a typo. You could buy this brand new and still have enough left over for gear, insurance, and a vacation. One rider said, "I've owned Japanese bikes for 20 years. This one rides just as good, and it's been very reliable." From a modern street fighter making its mark with sharp style and agility, we now turn toward a powerhouse known for raw muscle, commanding presence, and a reputation that shook the streets, roaring into the third position with sheer muscle and street-shaking power. Suzuki Bandit 1250. This is a torque monster with a reputation for outliving its owners. Riders across the globe have clocked well over 80,000 miles without even opening the engine. This bike isn't just reliable, it's a tank with handlebars. At its core sits a 1,250 cubic centimeter air and oil-cooled inline-4, pumping out 95 to 100 horsepower and a mountain of 80 foot-pounds of torque, all down low where you actually use it. That means effortless passing, relaxed cruising, and grin-inducing pull in every gear. Keep up on oil changes and valve checks, and this motor will go the distance. No drama, no surprises. It doesn't need fancy electronics to survive, just regular care and good old-school engineering. No throttle-by-wire, no traction control to glitch out, just a bulletproof, fuel-injected powerhouse inside a tough tube steel frame that shrugs off time and mileage. Parts everywhere. Thanks to Suzuki's shared architecture, filters, gaskets, levers, and brake pads are all easy to find and cheap to replace. Fuel economy hovers around 40 miles per gallon, and you get a full-size sport tourer that costs less to insure than some mopeds. Riders report full coverage under $300 a year, especially once it clears that classic bike age bracket. Best of all, you can pick up a clean, low-mileage Bandit for $3,500 to $5,000, depending on mods and year. Try finding that kind of grunt and reliability in any modern bike without spending double. The Bandit 1250 is the workhorse that never asks for applause. It just shows up, fires up, and gets the job done. Over and over and over again. Until now, we're only a few bikes in, but already we've seen machines that laugh in the face of time. And trust me, the real monsters of longevity are still coming. If you're into bikes that outlast trends, outlive expectations, and just keep going, hit that like button and subscribe to stay locked in. Because around here, we don't just talk bikes, we celebrate the ones that were built to go the distance. From a powerhouse built to dominate the streets, we move to a machine that blends speed, long-distance comfort, and a reputation for grand touring excellence. Securing the #2 position, the Kawasaki Concours ZG1000. This isn't just a sport tourer, it's a land missile built for decades of duty. The Kawasaki Concours ZG1000 has quietly earned its place as one of the most bulletproof bikes ever built. Real-world owners have logged 100,000, 200,000, even over 300,000 miles, all on the original engine and transmission, and they're still riding. It's secret, old-school engineering with a dose of overbuild. The ZG1000 runs a liquid-cooled inline-4 ripped from the Ninja 1000R, detuned for torque and longevity. It cranks out around 110 horsepower, hits 60 in around 4 seconds, and cruises at 80 all day long without breaking a sweat. With shaft drive, no chain to lube, and a 7.5-gallon tank, it's made for highway devouring. Routine maintenance, simple and straightforward. Oil every 5,000, valve checks at 17,000 miles, and coolant every 2 years. That's it. You'll spend more time riding than wrenching, and if something eventually wears out, parts are cheap and plentiful, thanks to a huge owner base and nearly 2 decades of production. It's not without quirks. Yes, it's heavy. Yes, the carbs need sinking. And yes, that stock windshield buffets like a tornado. But the ZG community has a fix for everything. from fork upgrades to J-box relays, and they've been swapping tips since the early 1990s. This is the bike that crossed states when GPS was a paper map, the one that's still parked next to modern BMWs and doesn't flinch. You can find a well-maintained concourse for $2,500 to $4,000, fully bagged, ready to tour, and often with a stack of service records. If the ZG1000 doesn't scream for attention, that's because it doesn't have to. It's the quiet professional, the one that just works, year after year, mile after mile, not a poser, not a diva, just a damn good machine that refuses to quit. But if the ZG1000 feels a little too practical for your garage, or you're not into carb tuning, bulky fairings, or 600-pound curb weights, but still want that same unstoppable grit, just wrapped in vintage metal and retro charm. From a tourer built to devour miles in comfort, we move toward a machine that thrives off the pavement, rugged, versatile, and carrying the spirit of true dual-sport adventure. Taking the crown at number 1, the Honda NX 650 Dominator. Some motorcycles refuse to die. The Honda NX 650 Dominator is one of them. Born from the bones of Honda's legendary XR line, this rugged, air-cooled single-cylinder machine is a masterclass in minimalist durability. No fuel injection, no ride modes, no nonsense. At the heart sits a 644cc single that's often called bomb-proof. Owners regularly clock 40 to 60,000 miles with just oil, filters, and valve checks. The dry sump oil and frame setup keeps everything cool and lubed, while the lack of electronic clutter makes it a dream to diagnose and fix, even in the middle of nowhere. And maintenance? Dirt cheap. D'Almeyers love the easy access to engine components, and everything from spark plugs to gaskets is still widely available. You'll find complete maintenance kits online for pocket change, and no special tools or tech wizardry required. Even after decades off the road, these bikes often roar back to life with little more than fresh fluids and a charged battery. The only real issues? Occasionally tired suspension or a finicky CDI, both easily solved. The 2025 Dominator blends the same old-school grit with just enough modern polish, ABS, better suspension, and a digital dash without losing that raw, unstoppable feel. Used Dominators go for $2,000 to $4,000, depending on condition, and yes, they're still out there, still thumping, still refusing to die. A fair price for a modern twist on one of Honda's toughest legends. If you want a Japanese bike that shrugs off miles, chews up bad roads, and keeps thumping long after newer machines give up, the Dominator earns its name. It was built to handle the wild. Deserts, back roads, sea breakdowns in the middle of nowhere. Chapter 2. Forever Workhorses Ranked Low to High. Some motorcycles don't care about trends, style, or speed. They were built to work every single day, forever. These are the forever workhorses. The bikes that just keep going, mile after mile, year after year. Opening this chapter in the 10th position with timeless style and legendary endurance, Royal Enfield Bullet. Now this is a bike that's more than just metal and fuel. It's history on two wheels. And for many of us, it's the kind of machine you grow old with or pass down to your kid. This thing's been in production since 1931. That's nearly 100 years of thumping down roads and back alleys. It holds the title for the longest continuously produced motorcycle in history. That alone tells you it was built right the first time. No fancy electronics, no fragile plastic, just solid steel and a reliable single-cylinder engine that can take a beating and still keep going. It's easy to fix and even easier to ride, especially if you're out where mechanics and spare parts are hard to find. You won't win a race, sure, but if you want a machine that'll haul your gear, survive potholes, and start every morning without drama, the Bullet's your ride. It's especially popular in places where reliability means survival, like the Himalayas or rural India. Yeah, there's a bit of vibration, the tech is a bit vintage, and it's not going to tear down highways like a sport bike. But that's not the point. It's the kind of bike you ride slowly, with your boots on the pegs and a smile on your face. From a legend defined by tradition and endurance, we shift toward a machine built on sharp styling, lightweight agility, and the thrill of speed for a new generation of riders. Dashing into the 9th position with sharp looks and beginner-friendly speed, Kawasaki Ninja 250R. While other bikes fade into obscurity, the Kawasaki Ninja 250R earned its place in history by being the cockroach of motorcycles, impossible to kill. This isn't just some disposable beginner bike, it's a two-wheeled Timex that takes a licking and keeps on ticking. The secret? That bulletproof 249cc parallel twin, an engine so durable it makes anvils look fragile. With just basic oil changes and the occasional valve check, these motors regularly hit 80,000 miles without breaking a sweat. We're talking couriers putting 200 miles a day on them, riding schools abusing them daily, and still asking for more. Kawasaki refined the recipe over the years. Sharper handling in 2008, fuel injection later on, but never messed with the core reliability. The result? A bike that survives everything from parking lot, drops to full-on crashes, often needing nothing more than a new turn signal to get back on the road. At 374 pounds with a 30.5-inch seat, it's light enough to be manageable, but substantial enough for highway work. The riding position won't cripple you, maintenance won't bankrupt you, and repairs won't frustrate you. From Bangkok's chaotic streets to American MSF courses, the Ninja 250R has become the universal workhorse. There's a reason you still see more than 10-year-old examples running strong, while their owners' upgrade bikes sit broken in garages. And for just $3,500, used, but likely still running like new, this little Kawasaki doesn't just teach you to ride, it teaches you what real reliability looks like. From a sleek sports machine that brought speed to the streets, we moved toward a rugged powerhouse built for dirt, endurance, and tackling the toughest terrain with ease. Stepping into the number 8 position with unstoppable toughness and true dual sport spirit. Honda XR 650L. Modern adventure bikes come packed with electronics and fragile screens and wouldn't last a week off the grid. But the Honda XR 650L, this air-cooled monster has been devouring desert trails and rocky climbs since 1993, and doing it with zero drama. Honda started with the bulletproof XR 600R motor, added electric start, and built what might be the most dependable dual sport ever made. Its 644cc single-cylinder doesn't just run, it thrives on neglect. Oil changes when you remember. Valve checks when you're bored. That's it. Outback guides in Australia have racked up over 150,000 miles without opening the engine. One rural mail carrier in Queensland crossed 200,000 before the speedometer, quit the motor didn't. A 2012 cam chain tensioner upgrade solved its only weak point, making it nearly unkillable. Nevada ranchers treat them like hammers. One XR survived 3 cliff tumbles and still starts first kick every morning. At 346 pounds with a surprisingly friendly seat height, it's lighter and more agile than most adventure bikes. The upright ergos won't wreck your back, and that torquey thumper crawls up anything like a mountain goat on caffeine. While your neighbor's $25,000 Adby bike is in the shop for another sensor failure, your XR is caked in mud and good for another 100,000 miles. Price? Just $6,999 brand new, cheaper than most new adventure bikes by thousands. The XR 650L doesn't care about trends or technology. It just keeps running year after year, mile after mile, long after fancier machines have turned to dust. Now, the XR 650L may dominate the dirt and backcountry, but not everyone wants to swing a leg over a tall, trail-ready brute. Some riders prefer something lower, leaner, and just as stubbornly reliable. A bike that doesn't care about terrain, but still won't die quietly. And that's where an entirely different kind of survivor earns its stripes. From a dual sport icon known for rugged endurance, we shift to a machine that brings sharper handling, lighter agility, and a reputation for conquering trails with precision. Charging into the 7th position, the Suzuki DRZ400. If the motorcycle world had a blue-collar superhero, it'd be the DRZ400. This bike has been tearing up trails and curving back roads since 2000, and it hasn't changed or been changed. And that's a compliment. Suzuki basically hit a home run out of the gate. They built a legendary bike with a 398 cubic centimeter liquid-cooled single-cylinder engine that's very durable. It makes just enough torque to put a smile on your face whether you're blasting down a dirt road, cruising to the corner store, or crawling through a rocky single track. It's easy to control and won't throw you into a tree if you twist the throttle too hard. With long travel suspension, a lightweight chassis, and solid ground clearance, it handles rough terrain like it was built for it, because, well, it was. You also don't need to upgrade much. A skid plate, better tires, maybe a pipe, and you're done. Low stress, high reward. It's a good bike, no doubt. However, for something that hasn't changed much since the internet was a thing, it sure doesn't mind asking for your whole wallet. Still, the DRZ 400 has that just works magic. It may not be perfect, but it's like a good pizza. Even when it's a little rough, it still slaps. This isn't a flashy bike, but it will outlast the trend chasers. And that, my friend, is why the DRZ 400 is still one of the best damn dual sports on the market. From a lightweight dual sport built to conquer dirt and trails, we now turn to a machine that balances everyday rideability with the thrill of sport bike speed. Flying into the 6th position with sleek design and sport-ready performance. Kawasaki Ninja 500. The Kawasaki Ninja 500 might not look like much to today's supersport crowd, but do not be fooled. This bike is an absolute tank. First introduced as the X500, it quickly earned a reputation for being bulletproof, rider-friendly, and cheap to keep running. It became the first sport bike for thousands of riders, and many of them still own it. Powered by a 498cc parallel twin, the Ninja 500 delivers smooth, reliable power that keeps going long after the paint fades. It is not flashy. It is not fancy. But that engine? It is a lifetime companion. There are endless stories of these bikes hitting 100,000 to 250,000 miles with barely more than oil changes and carb cleanings. And with its simple air-cooled design and basic electronics, there is almost nothing to break. One veteran rider said, "I bought mine for $1,800 in 2007. I still ride it to work today, over 150,000 miles later, and it still runs smoother than some new bikes I've tried." The ergonomics are comfortable, the ride is light and flickable, and the maintenance? You can do it all yourself. This is the kind of bike you can learn on, abuse, repair with a wrench, and still get to 200,000 miles with ease. And that is why so many schools, track days, and even courier services use them for years. As for price, these bikes are no longer in production, but you can pick one up used for $2,000 to $3,500 depending on year and condition. And that, my friend, is one of the best deals in the entire motorcycle world. Some bikes are unforgettable because they dazzle, others because they never let you down. The next one falls into the latter, and it's not letting go. Subscribe now, tap like, and see what real staying power looks like. Making its mark in the 5th position with classic balance and dependable performance, Suzuki GS 500. If motorcycles had a set-it-and-forget-it mode, the GS 500 would be it. Launched in the late 1980s and produced until 2009, the Suzuki GS 500 built a reputation as the ultimate no-nonsense warrior. No fragile gadgets, no digital drama, just a simple air-cooled parallel twin made to pile on the miles and keep asking for more. The motor, tough as nails, with regular oil changes and valve checks every 6,000 miles. These engines commonly clock past 60,000, and many push well over 100,000 with no major repairs. No liquid cooling, no electronic fuel injection, just mechanical purity that refuses to quit. Mechanics swear by it, riders rely on it. Motorcycle journalists call it the Toyota Corolla of bikes. Unpretentious, dependable, and long-lasting. It's light, agile, and surprisingly comfortable. And it's not just easy to ride, it's a breeze to maintain. You'll get between 45 and 65 miles per gallon, with real-world riders averaging around 53. Proof this bike sips fuel without sacrificing fun. And basic upkeep costs less than dinner for two. Even bigger services rarely cross $300, and you'll probably only need those once in a blue moon. You can grab solid used models starting around $1,100, with newer, low-mileage ones climbing toward $3,500. Still an absolute bargain. Owners say it best, "My GS 500 never let me down, not once." Still riding strong at over 100,000 miles. It doesn't shout, it doesn't show off, but it just keeps running, forever. The GS 500 proved that simplicity is sometimes the smartest strategy. From a lightweight workhorse known for its simplicity and reliability, we move toward a machine that elevates versatility, blending comfort, control, and long-distance confidence. Carving its place at number 4 with comfort, control, and go-anywhere versatility. Kawasaki vs 650 LT. Not every comfortable motorcycle needs to be a high-end luxurious barge with a price tag up to $30,000. Enter the Kawasaki vs 650 LT, a bike that proves comfort, practicality, and fun do not need to bankrupt your retirement account. If you want something upright, nimble, affordable, and shockingly capable, this is your Goldilocks bike. Let's start with the price, and this is where jaws drop. A brand new 2024 Versys 650 LT costs only around $9,000. But the real deal? Lightly used models from just a few years back hover around $5,000 to $6,000. That is a real bargain, especially for what you're getting that is one of the best comfort to cost ratios in the motorcycle world. So why is this bike perfect for the slightly older bikers? The first thing that comes to mind, ergonomics, which is the heart of the Versys. The seating position is upright and relaxed, allowing you to ride for hours without putting pressure on your wrists, knees, or lower back. The seat height is manageable, and the seat itself is wide enough to keep your butt happy all day. There's also ample legroom, and it works beautifully for both tall and short riders. Up next, wind protection? Yes, it has a toolless, adjustable windscreen that blocks wind surprisingly well and adds to the comfort on long rides. Suspension? This is one of the most underrated parts of the Versys. It uses long travel suspension that eats up bumps, and while it's not an off-roader, it soaks up potholes and rough pavement like a champion. Add in adjustable front forks, and you get a plush ride with control when you need it. The LT version includes hard saddlebags, and those aren't cheap plastic bags. They're lockable, color-matched, and can hold a surprising amount of gear. This makes the bike touring-ready right out of the box. One older rider said, "I've ridden across state lines multiple times on my Versys 650. Never got sore, never had a complaint. It's the best bike I've ever owned, dollar for dollar." The Versys is light enough to be unintimidating, fast enough to be fun, and comfortable enough to ride from sunrise to sunset without drama. From a versatile tourer built to handle every road with ease, we move toward a machine that fuses modern performance with retro-inspired style, turning every ride into a statement. Claiming the third position, Yamaha XSR 700. The Yamaha XSR 700 is what happens when you take a bulletproof engine, rapid and retro-cool styling, and create a machine that's built to outlast civilization itself. This is not just a pretty face. It is a hard-riding, mile-eating, low-maintenance monster with a heart of pure reliability. People buy it for the look, but they keep it because it just never breaks. Underneath the neo-retro styling is the same 689cc parallel twin engine found in the legendary MT-07. That means you get smooth torque, a 270-degree crank for V-twin feel, and an engine platform that's already been proven to hit 200,000 to 300,000 miles with shockingly little effort. It doesn't leak, it doesn't stutter, it just keeps going, and going, and going. One rider said, "I wanted something cool looking and ended up with a tank, 85,000 miles in, and it runs better now than it did when new." The XSR 700 isn't just reliable, it's fun. It's lightweight, agile, and has a seating position that's comfortable for both commuting and weekend blasts. You get ABS brakes, a slipper clutch, and real-world usability that you simply don't get with overly aggressive sport bikes. And the price? $7,899 MSRP, brand new in 2024. But you'll find solid used ones for around $5,500 to $7,500, many with tasteful mods like upgraded suspension or pipes. Yamaha built this engine with endurance in mind because it was originally developed to be shared across multiple platforms globally. That means they over-engineered it on purpose. So even when the frame changes, the core power plant just keeps doing what it does best. Run forever. The XSR 700 might look vintage, but its reliability is straight from the future of motorcycling. Okay, the next bike is insane, and if you don't see it, you're literally missing out on one of the coolest things we've ever shown. So smash that subscribe button, hit like, and let's jump into it right now. Racing into the runner-up position with legendary balance and rider-friendly performance, Suzuki SV650. When you hear bulletproof, think Suzuki SV650. This V-twin machine isn't just dependable, it's legendary among riders who clock serious miles and expect their bike to keep going without drama. At its heart is a 645 cubic centimeter, liquid-cooled V-twin engine with a 90-degree layout. It's smooth, naturally balanced, and famously understressed, which means it just does not quit. Many owners have logged over 130,000 miles on the original engine, still running strong with nothing but basic upkeep. Oil and filter every 3,800 miles. Valve check every 15,200. That's it. And if you do the work yourself, it's easy. The SV's simple layout makes DIY maintenance a breeze, and the online community has your back with every guide you could ever need. Replacement parts, affordable. Fork seals, batteries, stators, all widely available and reasonably priced. Even tires, a full set runs about $350 to $450 installed. Compare that to modern electronics-heavy bikes, and the SV starts to look even smarter. Comfortable for commutes, capable on twisties, and more durable than bikes twice its price. Used examples in great condition today? They usually run between $5,500 and $7,000 with low-mile cream puffs pushing $8 grand. The only real complaint? A few older models had voltage regulator issues, maybe the occasional stator or coil, but all cheap fixes and well documented. Whether you're a beginner or a die-hard veteran, the SV650 delivers years or even decades of smooth, affordable, nearly indestructible riding. Claiming the throne at #1 with timeless cruiser style, unbeatable approachability, and a spirit of freedom that defines the open road. Honda Rebel 500. The Honda Rebel 500 is what happens when minimalism meets near-immortal engineering. It's not loud, it's not flashy, but it is stupidly dependable, and riders who buy one tend to ride it until the wheels fall off, except the wheels never do. This is one of the few cruisers that's not just beginner-friendly, it's a long-term life companion. At its core is the same 471cc parallel twin engine from the Honda CB500 platform. That means you get an engine that's already proven to last well over 200,000 miles in commuting, touring, and even hard adventure scenarios. It's smooth, it's efficient, it's absolutely bulletproof. This thing is so understressed, it could outlive its own rider, and probably their dog too. One Rebel owner put it like this: I've had mine for 6 years and 87,000 miles. It's my daily and it's never stalled, never stranded me. I'll ride it until I die, probably. Comfort-wise, the low seat height and cruiser ergonomics make it feel confident and easy to control, even for shorter riders. It's light for a cruiser, making it a dream in city traffic, but it's also stable enough for highway runs. The 2024 model comes with LED lighting, ABS, and a clean minimalist look that still turns heads. And the best part? It won't kill your wallet. The 2024 Rebel 500 starts at just $6,499 MSRP. That's brand new. Used models from recent years are everywhere between $4,000 and $6,000, often lightly ridden and ready for anything. Chapter 1. The Immortals, ranked low to high. The best of the best. Immortal machines, so comfortable and so proven, they outlive riders, generations, and become legends in their own right. If you want a bike for life, you'll find it here. Don't argue with us because there are no better ones. Kicking off the list in the 10th position with off-road grit and trailblazing agility, Yamaha WR250R. Have you ever ridden something that just feels right? That's the WR250R. This isn't your average 250. It's not just some beginner bike you grow out of. No, this thing punches above its weight and earns respect from newbies and old-school riders alike. At the heart is a liquid-cooled, fuel-injected 250cc engine that screams when you twist it and just won't quit. It is reliable, has smooth throttle response, and revs that'll make you grin inside your helmet. And it's light, really light. You can flick it through tight trails, weave through traffic, or loft the front wheel without needing to muscle it around. It feels like a mountain bike with an engine, but with real power. Here's the magic. It's got fully adjustable suspension, front and rear, and it's factory tuned for actual off-road performance. Not like those soft budget dual sports that cry at the sight of a rock garden. This thing eats ruts, jumps, and logs like it was born in the woods. The WR250R doesn't pretend to be something it's not. It's a true dual sport that's lean, fast, and low maintenance. It'll outrun bigger bikes in the tight stuff, and when the ride's over, you'll still have enough energy to do it all again. This thing sips gas like it's on a diet, but with that tiny tank, you'll probably end up reaching for the fuel pump every time you hit a new trailhead. No long-haul cruising without plotting your next gas stop. Unfortunately, Yamaha stopped making it in 2020, and now used ones are holding their value like gold because riders know what this bike is worth. If you find a clean WR250R, snatch it up. It might be the smartest, most reliable ride you'll ever own. From a lightweight dual sport built to conquer dirt and trails, we shift toward a machine cherished for its simplicity, reliability, and a reputation that spans generations. Claiming the number 9 position with timeless practicality and go-anywhere spirit, Honda CT110. This is the bike that laughs in the face of mortality. While garage queens collect dust, the Honda CT110 collects mileage legends like the Australian postal bikes that ran 100,000 plus of pure punishment, delivering mail through monsoons and dust storms on nothing but oil changes and stubbornness. That 105cc air-cooled single, it's basically a mechanical cockroach. You can't kill it if you tried. For American seniors, it's motorcycling distilled to its purest form, a 30-inch seat you can flat-foot at stoplights, and suspension that treats potholes like gentle suggestions. Need to haul gear? These things have carried 500 pounds of supplies through the outback without breaking a sweat. Imagine what it'll do with your groceries. No fragile electronics, no temperamental fuel injection, just a kick-start-and-go attitude that hasn't changed since Reagan was president. Retired Aussie postal CTs now live second lives as farm bikes, adventure rigs, and zombie apocalypse survivors, often held together by bungee cords and sheer defiance. This isn't just a motorcycle, it's heirloom. While other bikes depreciate, the CT110 just accumulates stories, and for just $2,500, about what you'd spend on 3 months of fancy coffee, you can own this mechanical Methuselah that treats 100,000 like a warm-up. And at this price, it's basically immortality with handlebars. Like this, some machines live forever because they're simple. Others, because they're smart. From a trusted companion known for its simplicity and rugged reliability, we now move toward a machine with bold character, wide stance stability, and a reputation for tackling terrain in its own unique way. Here comes the 8th contender, compact in size but mighty in spirit, Yamaha TW200. Some bikes survive, this one refuses to die. The Yamaha TW200 has built a cult following by doing one thing exceptionally well: lasting forever. Powered by a 196 cubic centimeter air-cooled 4-stroke engine, it's been chugging along since the 80s with almost zero design changes. Why? Because it just works. Owners report 80 to 100,000 miles on the original engine, no rebuilds, no drama, just oil, filter, and chain, and it keeps going. Its bulletproof simplicity is what makes it shine. No liquid cooling, no complex tech, just an indestructible motor, fat tires, and a low-stress 5-speed that's nearly impossible to stall. This thing eats up abuse, farms, deserts, snowy trails, rocky climbs. It shrugs it all off. With 10.4 inches of ground clearance and a 31-inch seat height, it's confidence-inspiring for beginners, yet still fun for seasoned riders. Routine maintenance? Dirt cheap. Oil changes for $10, tires that last 10,000 miles, and valves that rarely need adjusting. Even if you pay the dealer, the 600-mile service runs around $275, but most riders just do it at home. Fuel economy? Try 75 miles per gallon. Range? Up to 150 on a single 1.8-gallon tank. Used or new, the TW holds its value. Clean examples sell fast, and even decade-old bikes still command top dollar. Most TWs on the used market go for between $3,500 and $5,500. Proof that reliability still drives demand. The TW200 isn't flashy, it's not fast, but when every other bike is in the shop or retired, this one's still riding. The TW200 is a survivor, a scrappy, low-tech mule that shrugs off everything the world throws at it. But what if we told you there's a bike that makes even the TW look mortal? A machine so reliable, so universally beloved that it outlived empires, crossed continents, and became the backbone of mobility for millions? This isn't just a motorcycle, it's a miracle on two wheels. From a compact adventurer with bold character and fat tire stability, we move toward a machine that thrives on agility, speed, and trail-ready endurance. Charging into the 7th position with agility, endurance, and timeless dual-sport design, Yamaha XT250. Since 1980, the Yamaha XT250 has been quietly outliving expectations. Not flashy, just farm tough with a license plate. This is the ironclad mule of dual sports. At its heart, a 249cc AIR-cooled single that's so rugged, it might outlast its own spark plug. Owners routinely hit 80,000 miles with almost no wrenching. In 2014, Yamaha added fuel injection. No more cold start drama even in snow or stale gas. Forest workers in Japan strapped chainsaws to them. One survived a landslide, sat buried for 3 months, got fresh oil, and fired up on the first kick. A Montana rancher still rides his 1983 model with over 200,000 miles. His service schedule? Oil when I think of it, tires when they show wires. It's senior-friendly too. 31-inch seat, both boots flat. At 291 pounds, it's easier to manage than most cruisers. 6-speed gearbox hums at 55 without flinching. Valve checks, under 20 minutes. In Mexico City, couriers run 90s models with over 100,000 miles on unopened motors. Brand new, it's $5,499. Used, $1,800 to $3,500 for a bike that might just outlast your joints. It's not here to win races, it's here to outlive you. And if you're grinning right now, you probably already own one. From a compact explorer that shines on both street and trail, we now head to a heavyweight adventurer, built for distance, durability, and conquering the unknown, earning the 6th position as the ultimate pack mule of the dual sport world. Kawasaki KLR. If you're looking for a bike with grits and guts, then look no further than the Kawasaki KLR. In fact, this bike has earned its stripes, literally in camo. Back in the day, the US military needed a motorbike that could overcome rough terrain, carry gear, survive abuse, and be easy to fix in the field. No need for fluff or flair, just a rugged, functional machine. Enter the Kawasaki KLR 250 and later the KLR 650. They became the military's go-to motorcycles for decades. But what made them special? First of all, they were bulletproof and reliable. They can run forever on basic maintenance. There was no need for fancy electronics or complicated diagnostics. Your Kawasaki breaks down, you could most probably fix it with duct tape and a wrench. Also, besides the fact that you can ride them through mud, sand, asphalt, and snow, they are also quiet. Second, they were versatile. Troops could ride them through mud, sand, snow, even up mountainsides if needed. And they were quiet when compared to other motorcycles of that era. That mattered for recon missions. So yeah, the Kawasaki KLR wasn't just a dual sport bike. It was a combat tool. It served in Iraq, Afghanistan, and beyond, helping troops scout, deliver messages, and move through terrain where trucks couldn't go. One small thing though, finding parts can be like a treasure hunt. It's not as supported as the KLR 650, so you might be on eBay at 2 a.m. wondering if that used part from '98 will fit. But it's all part of the thrill, right? From a proven adventurer built for endurance and long-haul journeys, we now shift to a machine that delivers raw, single-cylinder power, rugged simplicity, and a reputation for conquering trails with ease, making its mark in the 5th position with brute strength and trail-conquering simplicity. Suzuki DR550. When it comes to motorcycles that simply refuse to die, few can match the iron-willed persistence of the Suzuki DR650. Its air and oil-cooled, 644 cubic centimeter, single-cylinder engine is built like a tank. With regular care, riders routinely report over 100,000 miles without cracking open the engine. One legendary owner, he rode his DR past 118,000 miles before a full rebuild. The secret, old-school simplicity. No fuel pump, no liquid cooling, no complex electronics to strand you in the middle of nowhere. This is a machine designed for the long haul, not showroom gimmicks. Routine maintenance, cakewalk, manual screw-type valve adjusters, easily accessible oil and air filters, and parts so common they practically grow on trees. And it's efficient too, averaging 50 miles per gallon. Add in low parts cost, a massive aftermarket, and a resale value that barely budges, and you've got one of the most economical rides on Earth. If you are shopping for a Suzuki DR 650 in good, ready-to-ride condition, expect to spend between $5,000 and $7,000 or more, according to current market data. That's not just a deal, it's a bargain for a machine that's proven. Weaknesses: a lean factory tune and a firm seat, both easily fixed with cheap upgrades. Compared to other Japanese dual sports, the DR 650 ranks at the very top for documented longevity and simplicity. This is not just a bike, it's a global travel partner, a survival tool, and a legend that refuses to quit. The DR 650 is a hammer, dependable, rugged, built to take a beating and keep moving. After a trail-taming powerhouse built on brute strength, the spotlight shifts to a machine celebrated for its simplicity, global popularity, and a reputation as one of the most iconic rides ever created, carving out the fourth position as the world's most iconic everyday ride. Honda Super Cub, it is not just a motorcycle, it is the most produced motor vehicle in human history. Since 1958, Honda has built over 100 million Super Cubs, and they are still going strong. At the heart of this machine is a simple, air-cooled, single-cylinder engine. No gimmicks, just reliability. Owners routinely report over 60,000 miles on the original motor, some even crossing the 100,000 mark with nothing more than regular oil changes and chain adjustments. This is a bike that survives bad roads, bad weather, even bad maintenance. People have ridden Super Cubs on dirty oil, clogged filters, and bald tires and still made it home. It is feather light at just around 240 pounds with a low seat and easy shifting semi-automatic gearbox. Perfect for beginners, perfect for urban riders, and surprisingly capable on back roads. Fuel economy, astronomical. Over 100 miles per gallon is common. That means fewer stops, less spending, and more riding. Parts everywhere. Whether it is a 1960s model or a 2025, you can still find affordable original parts with ease, and resale value near legendary. A clean, well-kept Cub can sell for nearly what it cost brand new, even after decades of use. Depending on condition, that usually means paying around $3,000 to $4,000. A small price for something nearly unbreakable. It is not flashy, it is not fast. But when everything else breaks down, this is the machine that keeps going. Because the Honda Super Cub doesn't just run long, it runs forever. If you made it this far, you already know. These machines aren't just bikes, they're legends. And the stories don't stop here. A legend of simplicity and global fame gives way to a machine defined by sharp style, thrilling speed, and a reputation as a true modern street icon. Roaring into the third position with aggressive style and torque-packed performance, Yamaha MT-07. The Yamaha MT-07 is not just reliable, it is a freak of nature. This bike has become legendary for one reason above all: it just does not break. Whether you are commuting, touring, stunting, or just riding it like you stole it, the MT-07 keeps going, and going, and going. Powered by a 689cc parallel twin with a 270-degree crank, this thing is a torque-loaded monster that is easy to ride yet thrilling at every RPM. It pulls hard down low, it delivers buttery mid-range, and it feels alive every time you twist the throttle. Yamaha built it for fun, but somehow also made it damn near unkillable. Riders routinely report 150,000 to 300,000 miles with no major issues. This engine just sips oil and laughs at high mileage, and it is comfortable. The upright position is perfect for daily riding and long trips. It is lightweight, it handles like a dart, and the fuel economy is shockingly good. You get around 58 miles per gallon, which means you spend more time riding and less time filling up. Price? Brand new, the MT-07 sits at $7,700 MSRP, but used models with low miles and full service records are in the $5,000 to $6,500 range. It is easily one of the best buys on the market today for those who want raw fun and raw dependability. With raw torque and street aggression leaving its mark, the focus now shifts to a machine built for versatility, long-distance comfort, and the spirit of everyday adventure. Stepping into the runner-up position with adventure-ready versatility and everyday reliability, Honda CB 500X. The Honda CB 500X is the quiet killer in the world of long-distance budget bikes. It does not shout, it does not show off, but give it time and it will outlast everything you know. This bike has been ridden across countries, over mountains, through cities, and still comes back begging for more. Riders are consistently clocking 100,000 to 300,000 miles on these machines with minimal maintenance. And more than a few outliers have pushed past 500,000 with nothing but regular oil changes and valve checks. You get a 471cc parallel twin that is smooth, bulletproof, and relaxed. It's not screaming fast, but it gives you enormous range and unshakable dependability. This engine is under stress by design. It just keeps purring like a cat in a sunbeam no matter what you throw at it. The suspension is soft but steady. The ergonomics are ideal for all-day rides, and the windshield and fairing give you real protection for touring or commuting. The latest models come with ABS, a slipper clutch, and an LCD dash. But even older models feel modern enough. And here's the part that hits hardest: the price. Brand new, the CB500X sits at around $7,299 MSRP, but clean used models are all over the market for $4,000 to $6,000 depending on year and miles. One rider wrote, "I bought mine with 26,000 miles. It's now at 117,000 and has only needed tires, chains, and oil. This bike will outlive me." If you want a bike that just won't quit and doesn't care how far you go, the CB500X is a lifetime investment without the lifetime debt. And standing at the very top, the undisputed #1, commanding the road with prestige, comfort, and legendary presence, Honda Goldwing. Let's start with one of the most classic bikes out there. If comfort had a king, its name would be Honda Goldwing. This isn't just a motorcycle, it's a luxury suite on two wheels. For riders over 50 who want to go the distance without feeling like they just got off a bull ride, this is the gold standard. But the comfort comes with a price. The latest Goldwing models start around $24,000, but used models from just a few years back can be bought for close to $10,000 to $15,000. And they still offer a riding experience that puts most modern bikes to shame. But what makes this bike so special? Well, first of all, the seat is a masterpiece. Wide, deep, plush, heated, supportive. It just feels like you're sitting in your favorite recliner. And don't get me started about the passenger seat, because this is even more luxurious. Add an intercom, armrests, and backrest, and you'll forget you're even on a bike. The engine is a 6-cylinder, 1800cc flat 6 that hums like a sleeping cat. The power delivery is smooth, the throttle is responsive, and there's zero buzziness to fatigue your hands. It also features a 7-speed DCT dual-clutch transmission option that means no shifting, just twist and go. That's a game changer for older riders who want ease without giving up performance. Wind protection, full fairings, an electronic windshield, and enough aerodynamic engineering to block a tornado. You get all-day comfort, whether it's blazing hot, chilly, or pouring rain. Going on a road trip and need some decent storage? This legendary bike comes with 2 hard saddlebags and a giant top box, enough to fit luggage, groceries, or even a small dog. There's also built-in navigation, Bluetooth, Apple CarPlay, and more features than most sedans. One proud owner in his 60s said, "I did over 500 miles in a day and still wanted to keep riding." All right, we just went through 46 of the most insane motorcycles ever, and I want to know your pick. Comment right now. I'm going to be reading every single one. Also, if this video hits 50,000 likes, I'll do an even crazier list next time. So make sure you're subscribed, smash that like button, and I'll see you in the next one.